Hey there, I'm Doug Stone, Scout Executive for the Indian Waters Council, Boy Scouts of America. Welcome to the Soup, Stone Soup, where we dish out ideas and hopefully some inspiration to help keep you plugged into scouting. In this edition, I'm here with our State Attorney General, Alan Wilson. Mr. Wilson is a very active scouting dad and one of 4 Eagle Scout sons of United States Congressman Joe and Roxanne Wilson. Alan, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
It's great to be with you, Doug. Thank you for having me on today.
Well, Alan, I know that scouting, the Boy Scouts of America, and the Indian Waters Council has always been really important to you and your family. Why is that?
Well, we were raised in a family where my 3 brothers and I all were brought up in the scouting tradition. We starting off in Cub Scouts. My mom and dad started all 4 of us off, and every single one of us was able to achieve the rank of Eagle Scout. Due in large part to my mother and father's encouragement, but also because of the love of scouting that was instilled in all of us and that we all carry today. So I'm a lifelong scout, and I'm the father of a Star Scout right now. I'm very proud of him.
Well, you should be. And particularly, Alan, you're really staying engaged with your son, and he's very active right now, even in a time of this pandemic when we have some challenges. What are y'all doing to stay involved in scouting?
Well, in addition to our schooling that he's doing every morning, we had accumulated a number of incomplete merit badges that he's been doing from last summer and in the fall with his troop. So we have basically laid out all of the incomplete merit badges and all right, we're going to finish these up. One of those was camping, which we completed this past weekend. Cooking, he had to cook in the home. So since we're doing a lot of home cooking, he'd already done his trail and camping cooking requirements. So we knocked out the home cooking, and he's working on that. And then we picked up hiking. We started a new merit badge, hiking merit badge. In fact, at the conclusion of this interview, he and I are going to be doing our second 10-mile hike. But he was able, thanks to Indian Waters Council, to participate in an online hiking course last Monday, where he got to do a lot of the schooling part of it. And now he and I get to do that activity together. So those are just a handful of the merit badges that we're doing together. We're going to be starting family life and personal finance. And so those are kind of the things that we're doing to keep him in a routine in addition to his studies.
Well, that's fantastic to know that you can go online and get some merit badge work done and other advancement, whether you're a Cub Scout or a Scout at any age. Let us hear a little bit about, you also are working with your son. He's working on some leadership components of scouting. Tell us about that.
It's very difficult. We were reading the requirements for his rank advancement to life, and of course, he's been a patrol leader, but he has to do 6 months in a leadership role in the scout troop. And what we learned from our scoutmaster is that he can get approved if he finds a good project, a project that he can lead. It's like a miniature Eagle Scout project. So we went out and looked at the Heritage Trust Trail with some folks that I know at DNR that need some trail clearing and some removal of old bridges, debris, trash. And so we're submitting that as a request for approval for a leadership project that he can do outside. And of course, as soon as the troop opens back up, he'll be able to lead a group of boys out there if it's approved. But that is something he is doing to try to check that leadership box. And so he's being really aggressive and assertive in trying to get these requirements knocked out while we're locked down.
Fantastic. And Alan, for you yourself, you're the chief criminal prosecutor for the state of South Carolina, the chief legal officer and securities commissioner. You've got some pretty big decisions that you make each and every day. Tell us how perhaps scouting, your involvement in scouting might play a role in some of the decisions you make.
Well, first off, all the foundation principles of leadership that I've carried throughout my adult life, I've learned through the scouting system, the scouting program. I learned those going back to being a Cub Scout, Weeblo, and then as a Boy Scout. And, the troops are really good at making the boys do the leading, not the adults. And so I learned a lot of the basic tenets of leadership that kind of became ingrained in me 35 years ago when I was a young boy. And of course, those carried on with me through my service in the military and then again in my service in government. But, fundamentally, the oath and the law, the motto, the slogan, all those things that the boys are required to learn when they first join the troop are things that they're always kind of like on a computer. It's always running in the background. You may not see it or say it often, but those are the things that when they get instilled in you, they become a value system. And so when I think of the Scout Oath, if I remember from 30 plus years ago, on my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country and to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight, kind of runs off the tongue. When you say that out loud, that's always running in the background with me. And then you say the Scout law and you lay out the 12 points of the Scout law. All of those principles are ingrained in me, just like they're ingrained in my three brothers who have all gotten their Eagle Scouts. And then it's being ingrained in my son right now. So those principles are very much alive in me 3.5 decades after I began my scouting career.
Well, fantastic. And one last question, Alan. What hopes or aspirations do you have for your family and others through their involvement in scouting at this time, and that get us through this pandemic and the challenges it presents?
Well, I kind of just talked about it a minute ago. The scouting program, if you have a child who's in the scouting program, a son or daughter who's participating, just because you're not coming together in the troop doesn't mean that you can't rally around the scouting activities. There's a lot of merit badges out there that families can do together, that are helpful in everyday life and that can bring a family together, getting outdoors, getting the exercise, both mental and physical exercise. And the scouting program provides those opportunities. And I just hope that people out there who have a scout are utilizing those opportunities. There's an old saying, leaders don't have problems, they have challenges and opportunities. Well, if you're going to be a scout leader, you can't look at this pandemic as a problem when it comes to how you and your family are going to be together and how you're going to interact with your community. You have to convert it to a thinking of, this is not a problem, this is a challenge that's going to provide me opportunities. So there are a lot of opportunities buried out there if you look for them. And even if you're watching this video and you don't have a child in scouting or you weren't in the scouting program, the principles of scouting belong to everybody. You don't have to be a parent or a kid in scouting program. You can still do all these activities. And I tell people all the time, they talk about social distancing. I don't like that term because social distancing means that it's more physical distancing or geographic distancing. Social distancing is not what we're doing right now, Doug. You and I are very much socializing. We're just using another vehicle to do it. So let's not social distance, let's physical distance, but still socialize. And let's find other ways to come together as a community. We will all make it through this very difficult time if we continue to socialize through various vehicles like these online chat groups. So continue to engage with your community, your church, your friends, your family, and recognize that we will all make it through this together.
Words to live by from our South Carolina Attorney General and scouting dad, Eagle Scout Alan Wilson. Alan, thanks so much for joining us today and being a part of this.
Doug, thank you so much for all that you do for the scouting program and the families throughout South Carolina. And when I finish a few more of my meetings, I'm going to take my son on a 10-mile hike.
Fantastic. Have a great day. Appreciate it.
Sir.
Awesome.
Thank you.